This is Daily Armenia, ＳիվիլNeթ's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. A sweeping new tariff policy from U.S. President Donald Trump is set to shake up global trade, including Armenia's economy. Announced as part of his so-called Economic Independence Declaration on what he called Liberation Day, the policy imposes a minimum 10% tariff on all imports to the U.S., ending the previous 0% rate for Armenian goods. The impact on Armenia is immediate, as it exports millions of dollars worth of goods to the U.S., with diamonds making up more than half of that total. In 2024, the U.S. imported $129 million worth of Armenian products, $74 million of which came from diamonds. Now, those exports face a major price hike. Trump's policy applies worldwide, with steep tariffs on the European Union at 20% and 34% on China, in addition to its existing 20% tariff. Even poorer nations like Vietnam and Myanmar face tariffs of almost 50%. Trump was able to implement these measures without Congress's approval by declaring a national emergency over the country's trade deficit. Economists warn that raising tariffs from an average of 3 to 4% to as high as 15% could backfire. They compared the move to failed policies in the 1930s, which are regarded as having deepened the Great Depression. Critics argue that tariffs function as a hidden tax on consumers, driving up prices and slowing economic growth. For Armenia, the stakes are high. Its trade deficit with the U.S. is already massive, with imports from America outpacing exports by nearly 6 to 1. For its part, the U.S. has almost no domestic diamond production, meaning it must rely on sourcing them abroad. France and Turkey agreed that sovereignty is a key part of any settlement between Yerevan and Baku, as French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot hosted his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan yesterday in Paris. A readout from the French side stated, the ministers stressed that the normalization of relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, with due respect for the two states' territorial integrity and sovereignty, should enable the South Caucasus to become an area of peace, integration, and cooperation. The Turkish side has not yet issued a readout. The statement is notable as Ankara has repeatedly backed Baku in its calls for an extraterritorial corridor through Armenia's southern Sunnik region, which Yerevan says would be a violation of its sovereignty. Armenia has called on Turkey to contribute to the peace process by opening their shared border, as the two parties had agreed 3 years ago, but has not been implemented due to pressure from Azerbaijan. That same day, at a hearing in the French parliament, Barrot said that Azerbaijan's new demands on Armenia, such as the changing of its constitution, are unacceptable and delay the signing of a normalization treaty. Baku maintains that its demands are just, and that the ball is in Armenia's court to demonstrate it wants to sign the agreement. In other diplomatic news, Armenia and Russia reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral relations in an exchange of statements to mark the 33rd anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties. Armenian Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan emphasized the importance of continued cooperation and highlighted the need for partnership amid shifting global dynamics. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stressed the resilience of Russian-Armenian ties despite what he called external pressures, and expressed readiness to further deepen their partnership. The two have spoken multiple times in recent weeks, following a period of chilly relations during which Yerevan has attempted to keep its distance from Russian-backed international platforms, in particular the CSTO defense body. Armenia no longer sees Russia as an acceptable mediator in the normalization process with Azerbaijan, and in recent months has asked Russian guards to leave Armenia's borders with Azerbaijan, as well as the international checkpoints with Iran, Turkey, and the Zvartnots airport. In today's episode of Insights, host Eric Hakopian examines Armenia's recent parliamentary motion supporting European Union membership. He considers its symbolic value, political realities, and the misleading narratives surrounding it. He also analyzes Sunday's mayoral election in Gyumri, Armenia's second-largest city, critiquing the dysfunction of local politics and the potential implications for next year's national election. You can watch it at the link in this video's description. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 394. That's the number of congressional offices Armenian American activists visited on Capitol Hill yesterday to meet with their representatives about Armenian issues as part of the Armenian Assembly's annual advocacy summit. Notable among them was actor and director Joe Manganiello, a descendant of survivors of the Armenian genocide, who advocated for the release of Armenian prisoners being held in Baku. Last night, he was the keynote speaker at the annual Congressional Armenian Genocide commemoration, saying, "I'm here to tell my great-grandmother's story. I'm here to put an end to the generational trauma that has affected my family. I'm here because of the current situation, and I'm here to tell the world to do the right thing." The gathering was attended by the D.C. Armenian community and multiple members of Congress, including Senators Adam Schiff and Cory Booker. And as always, keep following CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.